One of the best known secrets in the interior design industry is designing for vacation homes. How do you do it? How do you get into it? What are the benefits? Well, today's guest, Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin of North Shore Nest, tell us how. Stay tuned. Hey kids, and welcome to Designed by Wingnut Social. I'm your host, Darla Jethro Powell, and today we're joined by Wingnut social media clients, Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin of North Shore Nest. I think you guys are really going to enjoy the show today because they spill their little secret sauce about being incredibly happy, niched interior designers specializing in vacation homes and all of the perks and benefits that you get when you design for people who have a home, a second home as a vacation home. And there's some caveats in there, and there's some things to think about when it comes to designing vacation homes, the specifics on how you design for families who are using second homes, just as, wait for it, vacation homes. All right, guys, before we get into my chat with Melinda and Suzanne Glavin, I want to remind you that Wingnut Social is now offering paid ads, paid social ads, paid Google ads that will help you get found by your ideal clients in your service areas when you are looking to expand your network, your referral base, right? Even if you are an interior designer that gets referrals, client referrals, eventually that dries out. You have to keep that pipeline full of new bodies, new humans, for whatever English that is, to refer to you down the road, right? So check that out at wingnutsocial.com. Hit that let's chat and let's see how we can work together to do Google ads. Or if you need help with your website, search engine optimization so your website can be healthy enough so you can utilize Google ads so it actually pays off. Or if you need help with your social media marketing, we do that as well. wingnutsocial.com. All right, guys, you know the drill. Before I get into my chat with Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin of North Shore Nest, I have to tell you a little bit about them. And this is very little. This is what they gave me, folks. They're so humble. North Shore Nest is a woman-owned and operated full-service interior design firm based in the North Shore of Chicago, or on the North Shore of Chicago. How do you say that exactly? It says on here, in the North Shore, on the North Shore. Either way, that's where they are. Ladies and gents, please help me in welcoming Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin to the show. Hey there, Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin. How the hell are you? It's so nice to see you.
Oh, wonderful.
Great.
So
Great.
happy to see you too. Happy to be here.
I'm so thrilled to have you guys here. It's been a minute since we've spoke, right? I think we last talked like last year, like 9 or 10 months ago. So it's so good to have you on the show. I love it. Full disclosure, you guys are Wingnut Social clients. So your social media manager, Sydney, said, hey, it would be great guests on the show. And I'm like, you know what, Sydney, you're right. How the hell didn't I think of this already? So of course, we've been from the behind the scenes and following your journey, following your business and the growth of your interior design firm, North Shore Nest, right? And you have a very interesting story and kind of a pivot that you're doing, right? So when you started out, which was how long ago, first of all, and just raise your hand, whoever wants to speak first, and say your name so we can get to know the voice for the first couple of times, then you don't have to do it.
This is Melinda. We are on our 21st year, or are we on our 22nd?
We're heading toward our 22nd.
Heading towards our 22nd. As you said, time's flying so fast. It's like we can't even, it would be 19 years and now all of a sudden it's almost 22 years. And I cannot even believe that at this point.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So basically you guys are new in the business.
Exactly.
Newbies.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started 21, 22 years ago. What was the focus of your interior design firm? Was it just residential design? I'm building a foundation.
Yeah. This is Suzanne. We really were focusing on residential. And really cutting our teeth. Both Melinda and I are not formally trained and kind of just fell into this. And there was a lot that we needed to learn about the business, over the years. And so what really was a passion hobby, because we both had other jobs, really became, our full-time endeavor that we just deep dived into and really learned to hone the business acumen. And that's just comes with collaboration and just really, I think we grow and learn something new every day. I think there's always a new surprise that we didn't see.
Okay, so 22 years ago, we're going to fast forward X amount of years and you're going to fill in that gap. You guys have decided to, or you guys at some point decided to focus more on vacation home, design for vacation homes. And we're going to talk about what that looks like for, what the scope of that looks like. How long ago did that pivot happen?
Well, this Melinda, it happened really organically, because what ended up happening is we're talking about 21, 22 years ago. Thank goodness we had clients that really trusted us, and we, were doing first homes, and then organically it just kind of happened. Our clients were getting second homes, and Suzanne and I both really enjoyed it so much, because you really design them so much different than you do your house that you live in every day. And so, once we did the first vacation home, and we published that, then the second one came, and then it just started happening for us. And we said to each other, maybe we should niche ourselves into this. We still have our full service and we still take on those projects, but the bulk of our calls do come now for second homes.
Isn't that something? And those are the best clients to have, right? First of all, clients who can afford vacation homes, right? That seems to me like we're falling in the ideal client category. And vacation homes, from talking to other designers, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, are so much. They're so fun to design, because usually it is just you in the vacation home, right? They're somewhere else. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think also our clients will be ready to maybe venture and do more things that they may not have been inclined to do in their primary home. But I think the biggest thing that makes a vacation home very special and different is really understanding the needs and how you live in a vacation home, which is very different than your primary home.
That's something I want to get into. So forgive me if I missed it. How long ago did you decide, okay, purposefully, we're going to start marketing and focusing on attracting those vacation home designs?
It's like 6 years.
Yeah.
4 to 6 years ago.
Because we were really, once we did our first one, and that took a little bit of a process to get our feet wet, and the travel is something else that we weren't used to. And then what we have to have is COVID entered into that as well. In the middle of some of our biggest, vacation home projects, all of a sudden we didn't have a team. Everybody was remote, and we're in the middle of these pretty large, some of these vacation homes are, they're 5,000 to 8,000 square feet. So you have some major real estate there. And it's basically Suzanne and I in the studio by ourselves, working constantly. And so it was a process. Some of these took a lot longer, and then the furnishings took a lot longer, and then photographing that. So as much as we wanted it to be a little bit speedier than it was, everything took a lot longer than we had expected.
So you mean the learning curve, or just in general, they take longer?
Well, at that time, the house doesn't take any, I guess it depends on how remote it is. The house doesn't take any longer, and every house takes a different amount of time depending on the amount of detail that we're putting in it. We have a beach home out east right now where there's a lot of detail going in that. So obviously that's taking a lot. And, we're remote, which is great because we love that we can do these projects seamlessly from Chicago to another state. And, before the pandemic, we never really realized that we could do that. And, we've had projects, most of our projects right now, a lot of our vacation homes are actually in Florida. So we have a huge influx of Naples in that, Southwest Florida area.
Nice area, Naples. I worked out there for a while back when I was a cop. I was a game warden before. And I used to go driving and looking at all the pretty houses and everything. And then, now here we are. But I digress. Okay.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
It really is. So I know I used to, this is a story I told on Luann's years ago, but I used to go through I didn't realize that becoming a game warden meant, hunting and fishing. I just kind of got into it, and that I would go through the reserves and I would yell on my PA, "Run, Bambi, run." But anyway, this is about you, not about me. Okay. So when you decided to pivot to focus on having vacation homes being your number one, I'm assuming, resource or design projects that you want to market to. How did that affect your business? Did you have any nerves going into that and kind of narrowing that focus?
I would say not really, because we really enjoyed it so much, the whole process, and really liked leading and educating our clients on, really our role is to anticipate their needs that they can't even fathom, maybe because they haven't had a second home. And,
Right.
and then a lot of our clients, I think they were just evolving into having a second home. We had relationships with them, and it's such a joyous, to be having a second home and anticipating all the memories and things that you're going to have
For
there.
sure.
So I don't,
Yeah,
It's
for
all
sure.
designing for, it's a lot of entertainment, and we love entertaining. Suzanne and I personally love entertaining. We love entertaining in our studio. We love entertaining with clients. So, thinking about making all those memories and how the party's going to go and how the setup will be, all
Sure.
of that is something, we had been doing this for quite a while. And for us, it was something new and exciting that we were like, oh my gosh, we're kind of like half party planner, half, we're design. And,
Right. I love that.
luckily for us with our, these are long projects. So your clients become friends, and you get to witness some of those parties, or you get to go and see how the client is using their space. And that's what is really what you're just like, oh my gosh, this is what we envisioned. So
it's really rewarding.
So definitely from an enjoyment and a rewarding standpoint, you guys found the fulfillment of the interior design, running a business, a little bit more joy from niching to there. Did you find that your business grew as a result of niching, or just kind of sideways, just different projects? Tell me a little bit about that.
I think definitely we've been growing, and
Okay.
and definitely really nothing's out of the question anywhere around the States, I guess,
She's hedging her bets, ladies and gentlemen.
And I think that both Melinda and I think for us, we wanted another challenge, when you are running your own business, and we were evolving, and it is more complicated. It sets up more challenges. And, getting like who you're going to work with, like team wise, and building relationships in other places. And, I think we were just like, yeah, let's do this. Like we're up for it. And
I love it.
The satisfaction of we did that.
And communication is like key. Communication and having and, obviously, Suzanne and I do the design work, but we have a huge, wonderful support team behind us who is crossing, dotting all the I's, crossing the T's, double looking at everything, communicating to builders. Because, here in the North Shore, we have worked with our same architects quite a bit. We've worked with our same builders and everybody knows, when we've done 1, 2, 3 projects together, they go really smoothly because the builder knows how we like things, the architect knows what we want, and we're all working together seamlessly. When we're now working with somebody new in Naples that we've never worked with before, and the state is completely different, the way that their regulations are completely different, it's kind of a new learning curve. So it definitely keeps you on your toes. And like we said, we're getting surprises oh, we didn't know that they couldn't do that there. Or, you really have to be innovative and think outside the box too.
Running an interior design business, it's so complex, right? The logistics, there's so many moving parts. Adding that extra variable of designing spaces that you're not even used to living in different counties, different states, does really require a lot of research and relationship building, right? How are you finding those people to trust in Naples, or those people to trust in, the A1A area or Florida or wherever it is that you guys are, working at any given time? Out of the blue, I mean, you gotta trust them to some extent. There has to be some kind of networking.
It's like you're dating again, actually, kind of.
No.
I mean, surely. I mean, it's like you're kind of like everybody's feeling each other out, and how, and the builders like not trying to step on any toes, and we're trying to you get them everything that they need. So you really feel like you're kind of dating again. And I mean, as far as resources go, I mean, we're constantly doing research. I mean, you're doing so much more research on, we recently finished a project in Arizona. Well, with the heat and so many different things, even just our patio furniture that we use exposure is so different than what we use here in the North Shore in Chicago. It's just, two different things. And then even like the way that we put things in our garages here in Florida, you could never do that. And then all the insects and the list goes on. So I think that that's the part that we really find fun and challenging. I mean, people in our area definitely know our work and know what we do here and kind of come to us for our niche that we have for building homes here. But when we're now going to Arizona, we're completely different aesthetic. It's a little bit more modern and mixed with woods and textures and real monotone. And then in Florida right now, we're doing turquoise. The color is
coastal.
Just so fun, you know? So that's why I think that we're loving it. It's because we really can push our ideas and push our, like, oh my gosh, we could never do that here, but we can do that there.
Yeah. I think it's really fun. Just, we can be more creative, taking into account the location. Yeah. And that I think is a designer's dream to be able to, you know, move around and do different homes. And
I think it's proving to ourselves too, that the range that you can have too. Because I think with a lot of designers and us too, if you look at our portfolio, you can definitely tell our work, and it's fun to really push ourselves to do something that we're not necessarily used to doing. And that's kind of, it puts an extra zip in our step for sure.
It does.
I love it. And if you're working out in Naples, right, there's tons of vacation homes there. You got Catalina. You have, what's the other little island there? I used to drive around. Sanibel.
Yeah.
All vacation. It's just so many snowbirds, right? That's quite the market.
So many snowbirds.
Yeah, so many. I want to be one now.
Well, and honestly, selfishly, Suzanne and I we're entering a different age bracket, shall we say, and the winters here are getting a little tough.
So we're really happy to hop on a plane to go to Naples for a project.
We need an electrical walkthrough. Yes.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
Ironically, though, we always seem to end up in our vacation spots. New Jersey, middle of winter.
Arizona, June.
Yeah. I wish my wife is considerably younger than me. I admit, and the cold doesn't bother her. So I'm like, girl,
and congratulations.
Thank you so much. And I'm like, girl, no, I want to go back to Florida. It is too freaking cold, but she won't have it. It's too hot for her. We'll wait. We'll see. I'll wait it out.
The key is to have both, right? That's why we're promoting the vacation home.
Yes, exactly.
You can't have it all, right?
Well, we'll hire you to do our vacation home in Florida. Maybe I can talk her into it.
Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did mention earlier, Melinda, that there's different things to consider when you're designing someone's vacation home. There's a lot of different variables there. And you said, the entertainment value, that kind of thing. What are some other factors to consider when you're specifically designing for a client's vacation home versus their original primary residence?
There's the list could go.
Just some of the top high level.
Some of the top things are like storage, number one. Storage, your vacation home is a lot different than your main home. Entertaining, just your kitchen in general is a huge difference because we're really thinking about pulling things out quickly. And of course, with vacation homes, and I don't know, Suzanne and I we used to love to entertain. And now we love to entertain where there's not very much, like the expectations are real low. So for our clients, we think that through, like, here's the drawer where all this is going to be. Here's where your, plastic, your melamine is. And here's where you're going to set up your buffet quickly. Here's how the party trays are going to go in. Costco obviously comes into effect. Where is all that going?
Yeah. Like how the logistics of working where, to have a vacation home and then to entertain clients are so generous, or the homeowners, it's such a generous act to entertain. And the goal is to make it enjoyable and not stressful in the sense that you don't have things easily ready to go. And I think being able to capture impromptu moments, being like, come on, and feeling ready to have a group over is just really wonderful. Or thinking about having lots of towels and, how am I going to have the laundry?
And we don't want laundry going upstairs if the pool house is downstairs. And just,
really, I think the biggest thing too is anticipating what your guests need and having them intuitively find what they need on their own, meaning setting up things that they don't have to go, do you have a Tylenol? Do you have a Band-Aid? Do you have any, spray or, like where
Wow.
you
So
can
very
just,
thorough to that
Very
kind
thorough.
of thing, or everything that they would need.
To your point, without having to ask, without having to, the entertainer is so busy, without having to ask, that we can visually put that in for the guest to know where they're going to, we build that in. So the homeowner is so busy possibly in the kitchen. She can't be downstairs by the pool, getting drinks. And so all of that is really well thought out. And we're trying to make it so much easier on the homeowner, the entertainer, where they're not stressed trying to pull off a quick impromptu party. We want to teach them how it can happen just seamlessly, where they're enjoying it as much as their guests are.
I was going through a rebrand in my company and having a new website built. And I brought in Wingnut at around the same time and had them do a strategy. In that strategy, I found it to be really comprehensive and actionable. I, like probably many designers, find Instagram to be such a bear. I understand that it is so important. It is a visual medium. What we do is so visual, but it's an entire full-time job. And with running a business and actually doing design, it was just really not feasible for me to keep up that pace with Instagram if I ever wanted to sleep. So working with Wingnut, they have taken all of that off of my plate, which honestly is the most invaluable piece of working with Wingnut.
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys. I'm sure that it's changed for you because you sound like you're experts. Whenever I entertain, host a party or a Super Bowl, or even if it's something, I'm always working.
Right. Yeah.
I never get to enjoy it. I
Right.
love it. So you said, like, for example, the kitchen is different. Are we talking it's smaller? Or instead there's a butler's pantry as well? There's another island, or there's a place for someone to help prepare that. What does that look like? And how much does this rely on that onboarding and really just making sure these clients are certain that this won't be their forever home? You know what I mean? Yeah. What if it changes?
Well, it can turn into that too.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'll let you go on to the kitchen because
I think for every project it's different. Obviously, we like it when we get in on the ground level as far as like in with the architectural development, and then if we can have put our input into it, we always feel like it's really more successful. And it is a collaboration, obviously, like with the architect and listening to our clients also. So, that's a huge component is how do they visualize that they want to live? How do they want to feel in their home? And what is their entertaining like? So for some people, it could be a very maybe smaller group. Or other people are like, it could be over 20 people at any given time. So I feel like there's not like just a blueprint. It's really individual to our clients, where their home is, and if they're going, how many people they would have at a given time.
Yeah, how big the house is, and quite honestly, now with a lot of our clients too, it's how many children they have, and the children are getting older, and then they're bringing their significant others over, and the table is growing. And to answer your question, like about kitchens, like sometimes we may do two islands. One island's a working island where it's just strictly for dishes. And then the other island is strictly, really prepared for entertaining. This is where the buffet is going to go. It's all down to even how the bar stools are, on one of the islands, because those bar stools have to tuck under in order to create that buffet. So people aren't going over the top of backs. Really the size of the house, how many people are coming, like Suzanne said, and some people really want very small, intimate. And that's where, sometimes we're doing like a really large bar that's servicing outside the pool and then down to the lake.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it really, and then sometimes it's a butler's pantry where here's where you're going to set up your drinks and food's going to go in here. So that's why Suzanne mentioned we really like to start out with the architect in the beginning, because we already start thinking about even little things like well, that window, we're not going to be able to fit a drapery panel there. That window needs to be moved over another 6 inches, or otherwise we're going to have really hard trouble. And this is a big sun exposure area. And how are we going to diminish that coming in? And at the same time that they're trying to watch TV at 5 o'clock during the winter. And that's what is really tricky with some of ours is it's not all strictly warm. We're designing for 6 months out of the year warm, and 6 months out of the year could be freezing. So you have snow involved and you have surf involved.
For our vacation homes that are
in Wisconsin.
We do a lot of
and
work.
Around Michigan or around those areas. So those are even more tricky because then you're not only thinking flip-flops in summer, but you're also thinking ski, snow boots, snowshoeing.
How fun though.
Yeah.
How fun. How fun to design though. There's so many. So here's a question that popped up into my head. So we discussed Naples and we discussed Sanibel Island, and there's a huge percentage of just dedicated vacation homes, right? To design along this. Is there any step or part of this where you consider the real estate, like the resale value, if someone's coming in for the owner to, and maybe it's not going to be a vacation home for that person down the road, or pretty much all your clients are like, no, this is our house for life. Don't worry about it kind of thing. Or, you know what I mean? Are there any baked in commonalities that you could sell the house as a just specifically residential house? Because we're reducing storage, I'm imagining, or increasing. I wasn't quite sure where you're going with that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question. I can start and you can top off with that. But a lot of, and especially real estate around, the lakes in Wisconsin, it's hard to get. So once you get these properties, typically they stay in the family. So a lot of these vacation homes we're designing, they will most likely be, it's not something that they will be selling unless like something, an unbelievable property comes up next. But to your point, in like a Naples area where some of our clients are just starting out down there and this might be their first home, that might be something they live in for 5 to 6 years and then be like, oh, now that we're immersed down here, we want to be in a different golf community or we want to be closer to the water. So those homes, yes, could be a little bit more of a turnover than the homes up around here just because the property is really hard to get.
I see. So that makes sense. And it's all dependent on that client and that intake and making sure the deep dive is done. Not to say anything can't change, but to know their intentions. And everything, you just get to design it again if they want to, if they want to change anything, right? Yeah.
We actually, we worked with a client on a farm up in Wisconsin, and so awesome. Such a great, beautiful property.
Gosh,
and
so
we finished it. We're in the process of finishing it, and he bought another farm. So he wanted to sell that one. So
now here comes another farm.
So it's exciting. Yeah. We're like, oh my gosh.
So our vacation homes aren't just revolved around water. We do have a lot of like farm homes, and that kind of country living is very attractive around here too. And being so close to Wisconsin, there is a lot of land.
So fun.
And it's just a totally different way. Now we're looking at ATVs and horses and mud and where the fireplaces are and fishing. And so that's a whole nother fun.
And that actually too, then in the design part, you have to anticipate like you're going out ATVing and you're going to be, so filthy. The dogs are going to be filthy. And how do you mitigate that? How do you make that easy when you're having lots of people, come through? And then it really, even to everything that we select as far as the finishes, we're thinking about the durability.
And we didn't know that ATVing was too dirty until our client was like, hop on. And we're like, in our clothes, and we're coming back and we're like flinging mud. And we're like, okay, now we've got an idea of what's coming into this house, and we're a mess and we weren't prepared. So the next time our client's like, make sure you dress properly because we're going back out
again.
For
the farm.
Dress for the farm. So
that's one way to learn. You'll never forget that one. How often are you guys boots on the ground on these remote projects?
For each contract, we have a certain amount of visits, and usually they're pretty milestone markers that we anticipate. And if we need to go more than that, then we do.
Okay.
But I would say probably At least probably four, depending on if it's a new build.
Once a month is typically when the builder wants to see us. And that's kind of how we range, depending on the contract length and where they are with building. But typically, some of our other projects that are a little bit further, we may not be there every month because it's not as easy to get there. And the client or the builder we really work off of the builder's schedule and what he needs or she needs from us at that time. So
do you ever delegate that to designers on staff or junior designers, or is it always you guys?
We do. We have a full service project manager, and she does a lot of that kind of work where she's just, for example,
Nice.
She was at a project last week for us up in Wisconsin and taking pictures, and we all go through the recap together. And she's just amazing at keeping the project flowing and keeping the builders happy.
That's great. That must be a nice relief for you guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm sure. All right, so if someone is in the audience and they're thinking, man, this sounds amazing. I've been wanting to niche to vacation homes, a little nervous about, taking that switch. I'm just unfamiliar. What would be the first steps or the next steps you'd recommend to just get their feet wet with this?
No, I just say dive in and do, I kind of thought about the question that you asked us earlier. Like, were we nervous I was always nervous about niching into something because I just didn't want to put us in a box or put us in, and we're still not, we have wonderful projects around here too that we love, but it's just like, once we went for it, like the joy that we got out of it, and just meeting different people, and it's supposed to be fun. Like, this is a luxury. It's a lot of money. It's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to make it fun. We want to have a lot of fun with our clients, and we want them to enjoy the process along the way. So I think just taking your first and honestly, we've seen a lot of interior designers niching in all different categories. And I think that's because there are so many of us out there, but, and it's not like there's competition. It's just there's somebody for everybody. And that's what's great. We're very supportive of the designers around here. We're always willing to recommend them and be their cheerleaders. And there's so much good work out there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody always has something different to offer, right? Nobody is you, right? You guys are it. So that's your positioning and your delineation, right? And you'll jive with your ideal client, where someone you might recommend would jive with someone else that wasn't quite a fit. I love it. Collaboration. I love it.
Yeah. Every interior, and I don't know how everybody does it, but I'm sure everybody vets their clients pretty well because we want them to have a good experience. We want, we want to make sure that we're working well together. And if we're talking to somebody and we're like, you know what, gosh, they would be perfect for so-and-so. We would start that conversation with them too, and, make sure that the client is taken care of and has somebody that, and maybe the project doesn't fit our time frame even, and that's a huge one. It's typically our time frame.
Well, it's part of the relationship building as well, and why you can get confident building homes in Naples from Chicago, right? Is you guys are really good at building those relationships, and that's key. So guys, is there anything that I've forgotten to ask you on this topic that you think that the audience needs to hear before we get into the fire round?
No, call us for vacation home.
Yeah.
We're looking to do something in the Bahamas, possibly. No,
the Turks and Caicos.
Oh, Turks and Caicos. Cayman.
Can we do that? I want that one.
Yeah. Anything with some beautiful, anything that's a challenge, right?
Yeah. I want a hurricane proof though. I want solid poured concrete, hurricane glass.
Right. Yes. Oh my God.
I already have it designed in my mind. So I'll just, here you go.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta go for it.
I'm obsessed. Well, I'm a Florida native, so which is why I was kind of like harping on the Florida part of the vacation homes. I was born and raised there. So I'm like reminiscing.
Now, how are you handling chilly weather then? Because
not well.
Florida,
I love Maryland. It's beautiful. Maryland's beautiful and the seasons are beautiful, but I'm not one to really like being cold, but that's not a new thing. I'm sure people don't like being cold.
No, I love the seasons. People love, having
they're beautiful.
Seasons is wonderful.
And the cherry trees and all that, the blossoms. Yeah, it's so pretty. All right, guys. Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin, are you ready for the What Up Wingnut round?
Let's do it.
You start. Melinda, you want to go first? What would the hashtag on your tombstone be?
lived a happy life.
Suzanne?
Loved and been loved.
Oh, that's sweet. Those are both very
But
sweet.
you know what? Because I have to tell you what. So when we were talking about this yesterday, I said, Melinda, I already know what mine is. And I said, it's lived life beautifully. Because that's our tag.
I go, that's what we both do. that's what our company is.
Yeah.
I'm like, you better be living that way.
That's a beautiful tagline. I love it. That's terrific.
Yeah.
All right. So next, you're stuck on a deserted island, but you can have your one favorite food forever. What is it, Melinda?
Well, I want so many. I don't know if pina colada is a food, but if I'm on an island, I would like a pina colada and maybe a piece of pizza. So
you can only have one.
Let's
go with pina. Yeah. Pina colada has coconut in it, which kind of is rich on the island.
No. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm good. I'm good with pina colada. Yeah. How about you, Suzanne?
Well, it really is not islandy at all. A cheeseburger.
That's my number one.
Because I feel like it meets all the food groups.
I want hers. And then
I also will need a lot of calories because I'm going to have to work so hard if there's nothing else on the island.
You're going to need my pina colada.
Yeah. Can we be together on this island?
We'd like a cheeseburger.
And then the pina colada.
I think we most likely would be deserted together.
Yeah.
I love both of these answers, and it really just, because it's kind of a psychological thing, right? It just shows how well you guys work together, because we have the pina colada, the party, the fun, but then we have the practical side. Now we're going to survive as well as have fun.
Yes, it's like we need protein.
Last but not least, please recommend a book that's impacted you either personally or professionally.
You know, I would say that I love to read, and I can't think of one thing that made like such a huge impact, but I just recently read a book from an author actually from Wilmette, which is a town nearby. Her name is Meg Kissinger, and it's called While You Were Out. And she focuses on mental health. Back when mental health was taboo, not talked about, and her childhood experience, raised in a Catholic Irish family with 8 kids. And it really resonated with me. I'm from a very Catholic family, and I'm one of 7. And it was just very fascinating. So
what was the title again?
While You Were Out.
While You Were Out. Where are you in the line of 7?
I'm number 6.
So you're almost the baby.
Yeah.
All right. Melinda, what's yours?
Okay. This is really pitiful, but I have not read much lately. If like veranda, traditional home, house beautiful count right now, Instagram, that's kind of what I'm constantly Pinteresting in the evening. I should be reading more like Suzanne does. But I'm coming back to the office. She's coming back with profound things, and I'm coming back like, look at this. I can't this is what
I found on Pinterest.
She's so good with keeping up with the social media because it's so important, to know what's going on. So I get to read while I know. As you
can see, it takes 2 of us to make a whole person. So,
do you read Cabana magazine, the design magazine? I think they still make it. That used to be my absolute favorite. It is a gorgeous design magazine out of the UK.
Okay.
We
love UK.
Recently. Yeah, it is just the most stunning piece of art. I think I still have some around here somewhere, but they are just so great. Yeah, you should check that. I don't know if that's still in print. I haven't read one in a couple of years, but that was my go-to. Gosh,
we will check for sure. Suzanne and I were just in London last week for inspiration, and
can't get enough.
And anything there is just, and we take bits and pieces. One of our clients was with us, and she's like, I want this edge detail on my bar. I want this. I love this fabric. I want this color. And it's just such an amazing place to go for inspiration.
Melinda Cahill and Suzanne Glavin, please tell the Wingnuts where they can go to find out more about you and your so professionally run Instagram account. And we'll call it a day.
At northshorenest.com. And
our Instagram handle is North Shore Nest.
Yes.
There you go. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
All right, guys. Once again, guests who reiterate and express and drive it home once again, that niching is where it's at. And then when you do niche, somehow that helps to expand your business, grow your business, make you thought leaders and experts in that niche, and help you to really laser focus your services and eliminate some of that noise. Because if you're all things to everybody, you're really nothing to nobody, which is a cliche, but I'll be damned if it isn't true. All right, guys, a reminder again, wingnutsocial.com. We are a digital marketing agency for home pros, interior designers, architects, to the trade vendors. Check that out at wingnutsocial.com. All right, guys, that is it for this episode. Remember, until next time, to get out there, get uncomfortable, and be great. Hey there, Melinda. Sorry.
Oh no. I can't hear.
Hey, you're on mute.
Oh, okay. We're like, I can hear you.
Yeah, and I
You
think
definitely have to build a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. You were going to say something. We have a little bit of a delay, so I stepped on you. Sorry.
Okay. Sorry. Gosh, now I don't know what I was going to say.
Sorry.
Gone.
That